Alright, today we're going to be showcasing my build it's for PvP mostly, but you can do PvE with it. I'll include clips from both. It's basically a Dex intelligence build, so you have full access to all the spells, full access to all the Dex stats, and full access to all the damage and perks to come with it. Now, where we have to cut and sacrifice mostly, it was stamina, but I don't feel you need that much on this build. And this build is mostly a glass cannon. Like, you're not going to be tanking hits. You're just going to be dealing out a lot of damage, trying to be evasive and doing your thing with it. So we are running the Moonveil Katana. Scales off intelligence a lot, Dex a little bit, but mostly off intelligence. So you get the most by building into that stat. The reason Dex intelligence is really good is because they synergize well. Dex increases casting speed and things like that. So it's not just like we're a Katana and Magic hybrid and we didn't put a lot of thought into it. And yeah, you can play anyway in this game anyways, but why not optimize our options? So it's the reason I chose like Dex intelligence over Dex Faith or Dex Arcane or something like that. Not to say I won't be playing those builds in the future, but we're talking about this build. My backup is the Meteorite Blade, and you can power stance those, dual wield, whatever you want to call it. And it's just to get, mostly that's for PvE setup, not really PvP. You can get those combos off, but I feel like going into PvP, you're going to burn through way more stamina. Like I said, our stam pool is where we made a few cuts. It's decent as long as you're not spamming and you don't get overwhelmed, but it's not like, I think it should be around 30 or 40. It's not. It's going to end up around 25. The invasions you see, PvE you see, are around level 70. The build is at 100 now. I'll show you the stats at the end. I plan on taking it to 125, and I will update on that build. But for the most part, how you want to play this is you don't want to really spam your magic. We didn't really build in the mind. If you want to use your magic, maybe use it to finish somebody off as an opener. But mostly you're going to be using the charged beam attacks from the Moonveil to set them off balance, catch them off guard, catch them when it's an opening. But other than that, you're going to be mixing up your moveset with the Katana. The running R2 is really good to poke and then roll out of range with. And the jump attacks are decent. They don't have a lot of guard break power, but they are decent for like if somebody's blocking with a sword or something like that. But in shields, they're terrible. You don't want to do too many R1s with this. You can't win trades on this build. I'm not high in poise. I think I have like 23 poise. So even if I had more poise, trading isn't really optimal. You're going to get like a little of their health and probably going to take all of yours, especially if they're like a strength build. You want to use the mobility you have, move in and out, keep your space, kite a little bit. These invaders are like, they're just as powerful as you, if not stronger. Like, they will crush you in a few hits. And also, you got to watch out for like status effects and things like that. They build up really quickly on this build, especially bleed. Like I said, I don't have, you can, that's the thing, the armor isn't set in stone. It's just appropriate for the weight of the items I want to carry. You can swap it up however you like, but I'm running 2 katanas, a staff, and this armor. And I could push another weapon, or like a parry dagger or a shield, which I will include in the build. But all in all, I think this is the best choice for your buck. Bang for your buck, I should say, not choice for your buck. Now, the spells are really flexible in this build. Only 2 are really set in stone. The gravity pool is really nice for people who outrange, try to outrange you in duels and things like that. You also pull them in where you can get free attacks and stagger them. It's kind of the same as the Meteorite Blade. Like, you can funnel them into a corridor or corner. It's the reason why I have it as a backup. Like, if you're just in really tight spaces, I know this is basically an open road game, but there's the ability to invade within dungeons and things like that. So keep that in mind. Like, if you're in tight corridors and you run around a corner and you smash that R2 on the ground, both ticks are probably going to hit them. There's also so that can hit 3 times. The initial hit of the weapon, just plunging it, I doubt they'll be close enough for that. Then the 2 ticks of the pull, which also pulls them into you. So you can get a quick R1 off if they like get pulled in and it shreds most of their health. And then you go into R1 immediately after, catch their roll, you can kill them quite easily. Now I'm not the best at PvP or PvE yet. I'm starting fresh like all of us, but I found a lot of success in these tactics. The other spell that's not up for date is this one right here. Like, this thing can one-shot if all 3 rocks hit, as you can see. He tried to DC, but it was a bit too late. He got caught with it and died when all 3 hit. But even if all 3 don't hit, if 1 hits, it's still going to do damage. So if you just, like, if they manage to roll, they don't get out your range far enough, one of them will hit, and it's going to do chip damage. It's going to do something at least. So it's good at catching people off guard too, who are stuck in casting animations and think you're too far out of the range to hit them. Because the beams on the Moonveil, they do have good range, but they don't have the range of spells at all. The other 2 spells are flexible. I still haven't decided what I want yet. Like I said, I'm taking this build to 125, and I will update you. And like I said, I will probably be adding a parry dagger or a shield or another weapon entirely, but we'll see. The thing about this is it's really flexible. We have basically 40 decks, and we're going to end up with 50 int, but we have 42 right now, I do believe. So you can use any dex weapon you want. These weapons aren't set in stone. Like, even if you don't like want to use the ones that scale off intelligence like the Moonveil or nothing like that, that's okay. If you just want to spam spells, you have enough to do that. We're going to end up with 50 intelligence, and we're at 42 currently, I do believe. So you can spam all the spells you want. And if these weapons aren't your choice and you want a melee weapon like a curved greatsword or something like that, like Bloodfang, which I am going to be including in this build just to play around with, you could run that as well, but you're not pigeonholed and they're like, oh no, I gotta have to use a weapon that scales off both, or I have to use this specific thing, or I have to use the katanas. Maybe you don't like katanas. I get it. I totally get it. Run a curved greatsword, run rapiers. I have thrusting weapons on this build as well that you'll see in some videos. The variety is just endless. Any dex weapon will do well on this build, and it's nice to supplement them with magic. Also, you can buff them with magic. These aren't buffable. You can't also like enchant them with Arts of War, so that may be a drawback for you, which is why I say you might want to use other weapon. You may not like the blade beams, or you might think the meteorite pull is too slow. It's okay. So experiment with the weapon arts, mess around with them, put them on different weapons. I sure have. I have a lot of weapons I can use with this build. I just don't have them mostly leveled up. I got to get back to the grind, but all in all, I think it's a pretty good build. I have to learn it myself. I'm still learning it. Like, all these invasions and things like this are like week 1. Everything I'm doing is week 1, and I've been mostly focused on guides, so I'm not as good or as bad as I could be. I'm not even somewhere in the middle. I'm just literally just playing the game like you or anybody else would. Some people have been dueling nonstop, invading nonstop, you know, or some people have been doing PvE nonstop, and totally understandable. But I think this build gets better the more you play it. The more you're active with it, the more you experiment with it in different weapons, the better it gets. And I included a few PvE clips right now. We're gonna get back to the PvE, but just to show you, like, this thing shreds no matter what. Like, it takes huge chunks of health off anything. Like I said, these clips are from like level 70-ish. They're not even from what am I, 100 now, or the max is gonna be level 125. So this thing shreds hard bosses, easy bosses, PvE, PvP. Like I said, it's a PvP build, but I like to build my builds for PvP. And inadvertently, it does good in PvE, so you're not gonna have any problems with this. The talismans I run in are up for debate. Run the one that gives you maximum amount of health, because health is really important in this game. Like, you can, I feel like if you don't have 2k health, some things can flat out one-shot you. It's not even a joke out here, so that's not debatable. Now, the rune that gives you 5% on most of your damage stats, but you get 10%. I am using that. I don't feel like the drawbacks, you know, are enough to just say fuck the, immense amount of skills you get. But yeah, run the Sword Seal, is what it's called. Now I'm running the effigy as well. It just boosts normal stats like equip load, health, and stamina. Who doesn't need that? Like I said, we weren't really built. That's another thing about this build. I've supplemented things I didn't want to put points into and added them in other ways. And the last one we're running is the Dragon Shield Crest, because not just the Dragon Shield Crest, the Dragon Shield's Crest +2, because we want to mitigate a lot of that damage we're taking from the Sword Seal. So what better way than to alleviate damage? However, it's a flex spot. Like, let's not forget, mid combat, if you're able to, you can switch your weapons, you can switch your talismans, you can switch out armor, you can switch out whatever you want to switch out. So keep these things in mind. Like, you're not really set in the stone. Even if you go into combat with something, if you're quick enough on your fingers, you have things where you want them to be, you can fast swap to whatever you want. Maybe you don't need that much health, or maybe you don't need, defense or anything like that. You want more damage, or you want something to boost your intelligence a little bit or something like that. Just swap it out mid-combat. It's going to take some getting used to, but once you get the hang of it, it'll be quick like that. Don't have like 8,000 things in your inventory when you go to do it. Have the specific things you want. Maybe you're planning on luring them to the edge or something and jumping off, and you have a fall damage talisman on or something like that, and they jump after you and you just quick swapped to it and you live and they don't. Things like that within the heat of battle can make all the difference. So what you don't want to do on this build is just spam R1 or spam the lightning bolts attacks. Like, you're not using the full move set. You're going to be really predictable, especially in 1v1s. You can't just spam like that. That was really predictable. You did like 5 R1s in a row. That could have been countered quite easily, so anticipate what you think your enemy's going to do. Like I said, I'm not the best at PvP or PvE, but this build covers close range, it covers medium range, and it covers far range, and you can use what's in your arsenal to your advantage. You can mix and match spells as you please. You can mix and match weapons as you please and armor as you please. Nothing on this build is set in stone, but this is the build. It's the template, and I feel like you can do really good with it once you master it. So keep that in mind. It's really good at, as you can see, is punishing people who heal too. They usually backpedal in a strong line. I didn't see this guy, by the way, but that's another thing. Just always be cautious of your surrounding. But this build does well at managing a lot of guys at once. What its real weakness is its squishiness and its inability to win most trades. Like, if it's hard to win a trade with a straight sword with this. Like, the straight sword is going to power through just because we have such low poise. Katanas aren't really good at breaking poise. So this is more of a hit and run play style. If you don't like that doesn't suit you, this may not be the build for you. But I think once you learn how to get in and out, watch what you're doing closely. Your objective is to kill the host. Your objective is to kill the boss. And this build is really good at doing both of those things. But I'm going to go ahead and get out y'all here. I will update the fully leveled build and post it. Y'all let me know your thoughts below. I'll do some live PvP with this too. I mean, we're all new. Some of you are actually Souls vets. And like I said, some of you technically had access to this before it launched, like, clearly, but for the most part, most of us are just learning as we go, and I'll show that experience with y'all. Overall, don't be surprised. What I want to say, if you don't be surprised if you see changes. You come to my build, or you come to one of my future PvP videos or stream, and you're like, oh wait, you didn't have this weapon on the build, or you didn't have this piece of armor on the build. I don't think my armor's ever changed, but you weren't using these spells or things like that. That's the beauty of this build. Like, things are able to be swapped out, and as I come across new things and test things, I'll implement them into the build with what I feel is best. But all in all, this is the template. Like, the Moonveil is always going to be part of the build. This armor, the way I built it for weight management, things like that, Gonna be part of the build. 3 of those talismans, like I said, are set in stone. 1 is a flex, you know, but everything else is 2 gravity spells are really good. Like I said, those are set in spell, but luckily we have 4 spell spots, so 2 are very flexible. So while a lot of things are set in stone, a lot of things that are built are flexible. Maybe like if I add the Dragon Blade curve sword or whatever it is to the build, you know, I'll start winning trades and things like that. It's just that simple. Like, those things are good at breaking poise, whereas the katanas are not, which is why you heard me say I'll swap it up. But all in all, I'm gonna go ahead and get out your hair with this last invasion. And yeah, if you're new to PvP, welcome to the club. And if you're new to the channel, appreciate you. More videos to come. I'm gonna be doing a lot of I'm still going to be doing guides, but they're going to be mostly PvP tutorial guides. I'm going to be doing a lot of PvP and invasion, so you'll see a lot of PvP footage in the background. I'm not quite done with PvE, but if I kill a boss in a miraculous manner, you know, quickly, fast, and in a hurry, I'll share that with you as well. Once again, appreciate all the likes, comments, shares, subscribing. And I'm going to go ahead and get out y'all hair. Everybody stay safe. Have a good day.